UPSC started this ethics paper in 2013. It's paper 4 of General Studies. And I have had an occasion to speak to a few students who have cleared the civil services examination, and I find that uh, they didn't get too many marks in the sense that they are ranging between 110 to 120, 25 maximum. No one seems to have got more than 50%, at least the few people that I interacted with. So I asked them why it happens like that. They say that the question paper seems to be fairly simple, and we all came out with a feeling that we've written well, but some of the marks are not there at the end of the day. So we don't seem to score well, though we feel that we have written well. Now, why that happens? So when I probed a little deeper, this is a paper is very simple and subject to several interpretations, and then most of the interpretations are like known, and we discuss that we are all broadly on track with each other. Nothing exceptional. The paper is simple, answers seem to be simple. How is it that we don't get more marks than that? I mean, this is one question that seems to be bothering most of the civil services aspirants, those who have already taken the main examination, but still, they haven't done very well. And some of them seem to have got such low marks in ethics paper that they may have missed out on clearing the examination, or they may have missed out on a good rank because of the ethics paper. Why it happens? I mean, I can't claim that I have all the answers because even the examination paper also seems to be evolving. I have had an occasion to look into the question paper starting from the first year, that is 2013. And over the last 5 years, the papers that I've seen, it seems that they are also evolving. That means UPSC itself may not have perfected that art of testing the candidates for their ability to uh, you know ethically answer the questions relating to cases, that is part B, and also part A. In fact, you must be aware that there are two parts to this entire ethics paper, and part A is all about definitions and quotes of famous personalities like that, and part B is all about cases, the real life cases, or fictionalized accounts, or imaginary cases which are presented to you, and then the protagonist is facing some kind of an ethical dilemma, and then it is expected that you step into the shoes of the protagonist and then come up with a solution which is acceptable, rational, sustainable over a longer period of time, and it is fair to all the stakeholders who are there in that particular story. Now, both are important because part A gives you the theoretical foundation, and part B confronts you with various choices, and you'll have to pick up the best choice. And the best decision that you make is also going to be well founded on some ethical principles which you'll derive from part A. So there is a theory component which is in part A, and then there is a practical component which is in part B. Both feed into each other. So how am I going to help you? Well, I can't say much, but I will say just this much, that uh, average mark seems to be about 100, maybe even less also. If you can get another additional 30-40 marks, so then that can help you out in getting probably a service, and probably a better cadre and things like that. So all my effort would be to see to it that you get those additional 15 to 20 marks which can make a critical difference to your life. That is what That is all that I can promise. And much will, of course, depend upon you. And there is a lot of information that's available on the websites, international and national. It can be very tempting for you to be spending a lot of your time because, as a subject, ethics is very interesting. You can get lost in that huge body of literature which is available on the global websites. But don't forget that eventually you will have to understand the subject, and for that it will always be helpful if someone is handholding you, and not just understanding the subject. You should also be writing well within the time frame that you have. So in about 3 hours time, if you have to take the examination, you will have to write with precision, confidence, as well as a certain understanding of the theoretical models. So I will expose you to some theoretical models. I will also try and solve some of those cases. Uh, Discussion mode is not possible, but still, I will give you my viewpoints with respect to those cases. So you can come up with your own viewpoints, and they can be rationalized, they can be discussed thoroughly, and then you can come up with an answer which is both rational, reasonable, as well as satisfactory to all the stakeholders. So broadly, this is this entire syllabus. I do not know whether I can really cover it or not, but uh, the syllabus is fairly large, fairly good, fairly diverse areas are being tested in that. Some are factual, so I really don't want to get into that, because so there is enough information available. You can always download that information on the websites and then read that. Some I don't want to spend time on that, but the foundations of ethical principles, which are very important for you, I think that I would like to cover. And paper part B is critical, so I would also like to cover that also. So part A and part B together, I suppose one will be in a position to give you some reasonable value in this. So next session, I would like to, this is just by way of preliminary. So next session, I would like to ask you 3 or 4 questions, and then I want to answer them. Number one, what is ethics? Number two, what are values? Number three, what is the difference between ethics and values? And number four, which is important, is what are the sources of ethics? Now, how do you consider, how do you tease out the ethical principle out of situations? And what are those situations which will make you start thinking about the ethical issues that will confront you either as a citizen or as a civil servant? Thank you. We'll be in touch once again.